Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Welcome to my channel, and I am your host, Georgia Girl. This segment I call Throwback Thursday. I started this maybe about 2 weeks ago, just reflecting on childhood days and comparing those to 2024 and things like that. I think it's a fun little segment. If you were born in the 69s, if you know about the 80s, you know what kind of year the 80s was. So today, if you want to come along with me, I'm going to be taking you back to the 1980s. The 1980s was a good year for me. I was born in 69. I finished school. The 1980s was my school. When I started school, I finished school in 87. So that was a good year for me. I was able to finish my courses. I did kindergarten through 12th. And after I did that, and I finished school in 87, I had my first child in 89. So the 80s are some good memories for me. And if anybody that want to come up on the panel and talk about the 80s, or if you want to talk about what was one of your good years, I just said the 1980s was a good year for me. Like I said, back then the gas prices was cheaper, foods were cheaper. We was able to travel and do different things. I'm not saying you're not able to do it now, but I know times have changed. The inflations have changed. Jobs some have gotten better, some haven't, and some stayed the same. I just brought this segment just to have some conversation and bring back a lot of memories. So I'll be showing some different things today to trigger some people that know about the 80s. Six Bowl, you young, you might know a little something about the 80s. If anybody come in my chat, they might be familiar with some of these things that I'll be showing today. Of course, I'm still on my drink. I got a video I'm gonna probably put out later. But I want to welcome everybody to the chat and welcome y'all to the 80s. Is anybody in my chat know about the 80s? Went to school in the 80s, or they know anything about the 80s? The 80s was during the time Ronald Reagan was president. I know a lot of y'all young folks probably don't know who Ronald Reagan is, but Ronald Reagan was the president back then. No things I would say they still was political back then the way it is now. I'm trying to make sure you get the right person in the office. But I can remember my mom talking about Ronald Reagan and they voted him in office. And, he did his years. He was an older president. Like, I don't know how old he is now, but I know when he was president, he was an older president. He did what he did for 4 years. And I think Bush came up behind him. I wasn't old enough to vote back then. I didn't start voting until I got, let's see, I think I was maybe right after I got out of school, I started voting. But voting is very important to everybody out. There's going to be another voting this year. Well, in November, they'll be voting for presidents again. Whoever your president of your choice, just make sure you let your voice be heard. I didn't vote for Trump the last time. I don't think I'm going to vote for him this time. But I don't have a problem with anybody that is voting for him. Oh, you were born in the 80s? Are you an 80 baby? Wow. Yes. You probably was young, real young back in the time when the gas were like, do you remember the gas being $2 6 bowls? Do you remember the gas being $1 and some, $2? Do you remember that? You can't really try. You probably said I got an 80s hairstyle later. But anyway, I remember those days back in the 80s. You could ride off a tank of gas a long way back in the 80s, girl. You ain't gotta keep putting look, you ain't gotta keep putting gas in your car. You didn't have to keep putting gas in the car the way you do it now. I think when we went on the trip, my daughter filled up 2 times. I think she filled up 2 times. But right now in Georgia, the gas is over $3, close to $4. I remember when gas was 99 cents and bread was a quarter and a penny. Girl, Don't you remember those days? You know, I was in the store the other day, right? Because my daughter was like, before we went, I was saying, let's take some sandwiches and, you know, like, for we want to be stopping, especially when you're going a long way. When you're going a long way, good to like have some snacks and maybe some sandwiches or something if you choose to. Girl, you can't buy no bread. And I think bread is like what, about $3? I seen some places where bread $4 and $5. You can't hardly buy bread now. But you know that's part of our life and that's part of the inflation. But I'm gonna ask you a question, Six Bowl. Do you remember this right here? I don't know who else in my chat, but whoever's in my chat, I welcome you. Thank you for coming in. Today is Throwback Thursday, and I'm talking about the 80s. Each week I'll be talking about different years and different things compared to how the 80s is compared to what it is today. I love the 80s. Like I said, I finished school in the 80s. I had my first child in 89. I finished school in 87. I have a lot of memories of the 80s. Hey, really good to see you. Girl, you better say it. You better say it. Because I'm like, wow, that bread I bought the other day when we was getting ready to go. Do you remember that? Those right there, Six Bows. Ooh. A lot of people, can you hear me? Can you hear me while since I'm covered up? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? A lot of people used to be shamed. Hey, Ruth, how you doing? A lot of people used to be shamed, girl. Like when their moms and parents used to get these, they used to be shamed to go out the store. Shoot, I wish I had some on now. Well, like everybody knew when everybody would get ready to get their stamps. So those stores used to be so crowded. You know, it's certain days they were getting the stamps back then, right? Every time my mom would get some, it'd be like the $65 book. Let's see, what's what the $65 book, 10, 20. You know, my mom would get a certain amount. It was a lot of us. It was six of us. So you know we were getting look, we were eating good back then, see about we were eating good, girl. But back in the 80s, I was a little skinny somehow. I just started gaining my weight till after I started having health issues and after I had my second child. Then when that weight started coming on me, but I was a little skinny some. I think I showed y'all that picture I was. The fireman used to let us play in the fire hydrant. For real? Yeah. Look, that was your way of cooling off, huh? Six Bowl, you remember having some of them? Or you remember your mom had some of these right here? Was you ashamed to go in the store with them? You probably hear me echoing. Do you hear me echoing anything? Were you ashamed to go in the store with them? Shoot, I would. I used to hear a lot of people say, ain't nobody going in this store with them things. But they wanted to eat. They want to eat with them though. But things have changed now. I think you got your stamps on a card now. They do them on a card now, and then it will tell you what time. Well, if I had my daughters, I believe, I think I had my daughter card. And if you forget the PIN number, if you put the PIN number in so many times, you can't get the grocery. I don't know what happened. One day I was up there at the store, and I think I had forgot the PIN number. And they talking about, well, you can't put it in but 2 times. I had $100 for grocery on the counter. And we have to wait so many hours before you can use the card. So that's the difference between back then and now. We used to just get those stamps there and go in the store. Now technology just got everything in computerized thing. And my daughter said, Mom, you must lock the card up. I had to put all that grocery back on the bike until we wait a couple of hours, then we was able to use the card. I think that's what they do that because they think a lot of people be doing fraudulent stuff, or they'll think people be using other people's cards. But after that, I learned my lesson. Try to put the number in at least one time and let it go. That day, I don't know, I had forgot the number. I didn't want to be calling my daughter in the store because first thing, people would be thinking you doing food stamp fraud, which a lot of people still find ways to sell them. What I'm talking about, six folks. But back then, they were selling those stamps, like that too. I never had any, but I remember people having them. My dad never got food stamp. Oh, for real? My mom, she did get them. My mom did get. I mean, like I said, it was six of us, so she got them. Hey, Bud Files. I'm just reminiscing about the 80's. Do you know anything about the 80's? Do I have any 80's babies in the house? Do anybody know anything about these right here on the counter on my string? Them little step came in handy, but like I said, now they got them different ways. You have to use them through the cards. Today is Throwback Thursday, and I'm just sharing and talking about the 80's because I was brought up in the 80's, and that's a good year for me. And I just want to, do a segment on Throwback Thursday. I try to, if I don't come every Thursday, I come on Thursday and talk about the things about the inflation is, how things was back then and how they are now. You can't really buy a whole lot of stuff now. You can't. That's why so many people mad about self-checkout clause because they don't want everyone to know they own. But look, it ain't nothing to be ashamed of. Shoot, I was glad when my mom was getting some. Shoot, I wish I was getting some now. You can't buy nothing. How you been doing, Bud Files? Do you remember anything about the 80's? I know you probably young too. So I'm 55, so I could talk about the 80's. That was like I said, that was a good year. It is also was a hot year, y'all. Do you hear me? The 80's was hot too. The summers were hot. Because I had my daughter in February. So I had to go through some summer months too. And it sure no was hot when I had my son. Ooh, oh. But the 80's was a good year, I was listening to Michael Jackson. I was listening to Lionel Richie. I was also watching The Cosby Show, Facts of Life. These are some of the shows that was out back then. We didn't have Netflix. Well, I didn't have Netflix. My mom didn't have Netflix. I think we only was watching, I think we had cable at one time. But these are some of the shows of the 80's. Do y'all see any of the shows up here? Or do y'all remember any of these shows? They had like Cheers. I used to like Cheers. Dallas. Oh my God. I loved me some Dallas. I was so into watching these shows. When they shot JR, it just like I was happy they shot JR. Do y'all remember when they shot JR? These were the shows in the 80's, y'all. These were the shows in the 80's. Family Ties, the 18. These were the shows. Hey, Miss Lady T, I'm talking about the 80's, girl. Do you know anything about the 80's? The 80's was a good year. I mean, violence probably was back then, but it not as bad as it was now. We had the food stamps on the cards, on the books. We had different things. You watching Lassie, Mr. Ed? Okay. Dennis the Menace, okay. Do y'all remember some of these shows? Have Family Ties, the 18. Let's see what else I got in here. Yeah. The 80's was a good year for me. We had the Murder, She Wrote, the Cosby Show. Now, every day when I got out of school, I forgot what day. I think the Cosby Show was coming on a Thursday. I used to love to watch the Cosby Show. And then we had the Facts of Life. That was one of my good. I used to love that show too. Bewitched, Different Strokes, Full House, and I can't see that at the bottom right there. That's what they say. Knight Rider, yeah, Knight Rider. These are some of the shows from the 80s. Did y'all even watch some of those? Yes. I used to love Full House too, Six Ball. But they still show those old pictures now. Oh, back then, we didn't have Netflix. I wasn't even on the internet. I think I had a flip phone. And I think I got that right after I got out of school. We didn't have phones in schools. I don't remember having phones in school. We used to like write little notes and send little notes to our friends. We didn't have phones. That's why I said the kids are so blessed now to have phones, iPads, ways to send messages. We used to write messages and fold them up. Y'all remember writing messages, folding them up, passing them to the next person for the next person? Oh Lord, and these were the days, y'all. These were the days. I like reminiscing about the old days because I think about how far God has brought me. These are some more shows, the Golden Girls, the Wonder Years. I used to love the Wonder Years. Shows like this, I used to be real excited about watching them. Y'all don't forget to hit me a thumb, but I don't see but one person looking, so I guess they're in the bushes or doing whatever. But I'm gonna keep on rolling. Mm. Um, Alf, the show Alf, Dynasty. I'm showing my favorite shows at night. It used to be Dynasty, Dallas. It was another show. It was kind of like them. Oh yeah, the Hill Street Blues, Growing Pains. I grew up watching all of these right here, all of these. And back then, it wasn't that much violence on TV the way it is now. You know, things are just much different to how it was in the 80s and 90s. The years changed, inflation changed, the time changed, um, people changed, you know? So these are some of the shows that were going on. I think I could tell you just about some of the character what was on Dynasty in Dallas because it was like I think they was off of each other. I think they ran off each other. But those were some good shows. See what else I got here. Baywatch. I used to love to watch Baywatch. Different Strokes. Murder She Wrote. I believe that show stayed on so long. Al, you know what? That little thing was terrible. One. He was a smart little thing. He was real smart. He was real smart. Yeah, you can find a lot of that stuff on DVDs and things like that. I used to love Different Stroke, Baywatch, Facts of Life. I used to think I'd be one of them girls on the Facts of Life. And I also like the Charlie Angels. It's not on here, but I like the Charlie Angels. Um, see what else I got here. Hill Street, MASH. I never could. I never could. I started liking MASH. But the lady that knows it. What lady? On what show? At first, I couldn't get into watching MASH, but I think the older I got, I started liking it. But at first, I did not like that picture MASH. I don't know. It was just something about that picture I just didn't like. But they kept on playing it. They kept on playing it where you have no choice but to like. Not my phone. Hold on, see, phone. Phone trying to ring. I'm on my phone. Let me see who's on the call. I'll be right back. Y'all just type the word troopers. If you see any of the shows up here on this list that y'all used to watch, just put it in the chat. Let me answer this call real quick. 'Cause they ain't gonna stop us. I'm back. So these were the days, y'all. These were the days. Of course, these were the days. These were the days. I could go on and talk about my childhood and the 80s and different things, but it's a lesson behind everything because we have to be thankful that time did change. When time changed, everything changed. Like food prices changed, the school systems, everything changed. Some things changed for the best and some things didn't. But uh, if you sit back and think about how your childhood was and things like that, I have to sit back and think about how good God has brought us through all these different inflations and different times our life. And, like when our moms and dad was coming up, it was different for them. And then when our generation and then six for your generation, and now we got to teach our kids about things that is going on in the world, because we know now things are not like it was when we was coming up. So now we have to, inform them and let them know, look, we got to do better. We got to do better in some areas. We got to do things different, things that we could have got away with back in our day. They can't get away with it now. For instance, you can't really whoop your kids. You can't whoop your children. You know how you can spank them and things like that. They stop that. They stop it at school, but that don't stop the parents from disciplining their kids because if you don't discipline them or you don't teach them, they will run over you. They will feel like, oh, well, you don't supposed to be spanking me in public because you remember, like when you be shopping and you know how kids act up when they be in the store sometime. And now you will try to spank a child in the store now. You ought to see how people just look at you like you doing something wrong. But that's how we was brought up. Was that your video? I seen a video where somebody had a switch on that video. I don't know what video I seen that on. Oh, that was on Facebook. I seen where a little girl said she wanted to know how the switch be. You remember when our moms used to take the switch and twist the switches up, plait the switches up, and use the switch. You remember? Do you remember my mama or your grandmother using a switch? You said not you. Folk don't do that now, six ball. Do you? I'm not gonna ask. You can be honest if you want. Do you discipline? Do you have to whoop your children? I mean, sometimes we gotta put our foot down. Like I told my little grandson, I said, y'all still get whippings now. I don't care if you even be 13 and 16, and y'all still can get whippings. Cause I know I still got whippings. I remember my mom used to tell us, go out there and get that switch. You being did wrong now. You know you did wrong, so you already know you're gonna get a whipping as soon as you come in the house. So you might well go and grab that switch out there. But these days, these children tell you quick. They'll call the cops on you if you try to whoop them now. But you gotta let them know who's the parent. You gotta let them know who's the parent. Back in my day, believe me, I got my share. I wasn't a bad child, but like if I did something that I should, my mama made sure she let me know. You know what I'm saying? So, I was just like to reminisce and, talk about things that I went through and how I made it through some of the things and share those things with my family and say, look, y'all are blessed. Y'all are blessed to have some of the things that y'all have because back then we didn't have the iPads, the different types of cell phones. I think my first phone was a flip phone, but I kept that phone a long time. I kept it a long time. I think I kept my flip phone up until, I know I got a Blackberry. I remember those Blackberries. Got a Blackberry phone. I remember that phone. Um, but I kept a what's it called? I think till my daughter started coming up, right? She like, Mama, when you gonna get a different kind of phone? And some people still have flip phones. I think those phones was the best phones. But technology is so different now. But yeah, I was just reminiscing about the 80s. I was saying the 80s was a good year. Every year is good if you're still above ground today. But, like I said, the 80s was a good year. That's when I finished school. I had my first child in the 80s. I like to sit back and talk about it. My kids are spoiled. I don't yell or anything since my surgery, but they know when to behave and they don't even embarrass me. That's good. That is real good. See, that's what I'm saying. You know, these days they will try to embarrass you in public. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing you don't want a child to do, embarrass you in public. And and now people don't care what people think. If you have to whoop your child in public, you whoop your child in public. Hey, Shelly, how you doing? Good to see you. I'm just over here talking about the 80s, honey. Today is Throwback Thursday, and I've been showing some different things about food stamps, and we can tell now how the food is so expensive now. You can't hardly buy a loaf of bread. You know, I can remember having that bologna. I don't know if y'all remember. They used to cut bologna back when I was coming up. They used to cut it by the pound, right? You get like a couple of slices of bologna, a couple of crackers. That used to fill me up. That little cut cheese they used to have. We used to have this little store we used to go to in the summertime, and the man used to cut the bologna, the sauce meat, and different things. Over here, I'm so old school, y'all. So I like to talk about old school a lot. So thank y'all for coming in, hanging in with my break, taking y'all back to the 80s now. Taking y'all back to the 80s. So we are blessed to know that we made it through that part of the century. The 80s, we can look back and say we made it through all of this. We made it through the 911, when all that stuff was going on with 911. I'm gonna talk about that on another throwback. But I can remember when that happened. You know, the O.J. Simpson trial. How many of y'all remember the O.J. Simpson trial? Boy, I tell you. Now that was the trial of the century. That was the trial of the century. That was the trial of the... All your kids born in the 80s? Wow, okay. My daughter was born in 89. I graduated in 87. So you haven't told your age, but you probably about like 50 or close to 50 or something like that. Okay. But I'm 55, so I can tell y'all about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I just started bringing it to my, I try to do different segments and talk about different things, but I always try to have a message behind it. I don't just try to talk about things just to be talking. I do want to elaborate on things that are going on now, how things elaborate about things how they was back then and what are going on now. Because we're lucky, we're blessed to have some of the things that we does have, with the gas prices are so high. We went to Florida. I think my daughter filled up twice. She filled up twice. We rest and but it was time when that gas had went up to $4. Y'all remember when the gas was up to $4? And that was like what, about a year? It close to $4 now. But when that pandemic was going on, still drinking on my water, Shelly. Still drinking on my water. Oh, you 57? Okay. Yes, you can still get it like that at the bologna hothead cheese, okay, with crackers and pickle and juice and chips. I'm hungry. Girl, you get hungry. You get hungry. I seen you on a picture, Shelly. You look good, girl. I seen a picture of you, was it yesterday? One of the days I saw a picture, you look real nice. Okay. But yes, I was just talking about compared to how things was in the 80s. I'm an 80s. Well, I was born in 69, but 80s was just one of my good years. Like I said, having my first child in the 80s. I got married in the 90s, so next week I probably do some stuff in the 90s. Yeah, I saw your picture. You look nice. Keep up the good work. And I was just showing some things like I was showing this to six bowls, and she don't remember spending none, but she remember people having those in the store. A lot of people used to be ashamed to spend those. Boy, I wish I had me some now. Woo, I wish I had me some. I never got none back then, but my mom used to have them, and like I said, they were spinnable. They was spinnable. You know anything about that, Shelley? Do you know anything about them? I just put some little stuff in here, just reminiscing some things. Who all remember these different types of candy? You can't buy that candy now, y'all. Do y'all have a favorite candy up here? I used to tell you what I used to love. I used to love the lemon heads and the baked beans. I loved the lemon head and baked beans. And that candy right there was like 10 cents. I think it was 10 cents. It was about 10 cents. But now it's about like, woo. I went in the store the other day to get some peppermint candy, right? Peppermint candy. Because my throat was scratchy. And I just wanted to get a couple of pieces. And they charged me 10 cents for three. Well, it was 30 cents for three little pieces of candy. You can find all that candy now? Well, how much it is, Six Bowl? I know if you go like places like Sam's or Walmart, you probably can see this candy. Like, you can get it in boxes. But if you go to those convenience stores now, you're going to be paying about 50 cents for one of these little boxes. Yeah, I used to like the red hot too, but y'all remember those big old red balls? That big old red ball candy? That thing used to be so hot. Ooh, I used to have to get me some water. I used to have to get the water, y'all, and put the can up under water and let all the hot stuff go out. Cause I can't eat hot stuff. Right here we got the cherry clam. We got Johnny. Okay, I can read that. It's so little. Let me see what it say. We got the Johnny. Okay, Johnny some red hot. We got Mr. Melons, Boston baked beans, lemon head, and those jawbreakers. Oh my God. And Alexander grape. Those jawbreakers. I used to think they was gum, right? When I was coming up, I used to think it was gum. Like, when am I going to get to the bubble gum part? And you have to keep on eating them. You have to keep on eating. This is my personality, y'all. I like doing things like this. A lot of people don't talk about stuff. I'm different from other people on the YouTube street. I do a variety of everything. Y'all see that I do a lot of variety of things from health to talk about family to entertainment. Uh, I'm an all around person. This is me in real life. I mean, this is how I am in real life. I don't sugarcoat to be no more than what I am. I'm just who I am, and I bring it to my channel. I sit back and think about my childhood. Hey, Frozen, how are you doing? Do you remember some of this candy right here? And I don't have it up here, but those now laters. Y'all remember now laters? You can't buy that in the store now. I think a pack of now later right now be about what? 50 cent? Everything is high. Oh, they is? Those cherry clan? I never had those. I never had the cherry clan, but I did have the lemon head and baked beans and the what they call them? The jawbreakers. Yeah, you could buy it, but it's high though, Buddha. Back in the day, they want but what, 10 cent? Go in the store now and try to buy stuff. Go in the store now. You're gonna be out by a good 50 cent. But yes, I was just talking about the 80's, and it was a great year. The recession was, we went through a lot, but we was able to maintain the way things are now. Some people are just still making ends meet. You hear what I'm saying? Then after that, when that pandemic came, boy, it just stopped people back even more. When that pandemic started, it stopped people back even more. Hey, Buddha, good to see you. Do you remember the 80's, Buddha? Back then we had the boom box. We had the boom box and everything. I didn't see Miss Kid. She here? I didn't see her. We had the boom box. Y'all remember the big old radios? All right, thank you for coming in, y'all. Y'all give me a thumbs up. Share me out if you want to. Or you're not an 80 baby? Okay. But you don't remember nothing about the 80's? I'm not an 80's baby either, but the 80's was when I finished school in the 80's. I had my first child. And these are some of the shows I used to watch in the 80's, the Dynasty. I couldn't really get that match, but when I ain't have nothing else to watch, I did. Y'all see any of those shows on there y'all have seen? Put them in the chat. I got an answer call. I'm on my phone. Let me see what my daughter wants. Hello, I'm back. I'm back. I had a phone call. Yes. Hey, Frank, how you doing? Yes, I'm doing the throwback today, y'all. I'm doing the throwback today. You was born in 83? Well, you an 80's baby then. What you talking about, boo? I was just talking about comparing the 80's up until now. Like I said, the 80's was a good year for me. I finished school in 87. I had my first child in 89. And I be doing throwback Thursday. So I said, well, let me talk about some old days. I'm an old soul. So I like to talk about the old day because I think about how far God has brought me, and, and this is something positive, I ain't talking about nobody. This is my own original. This is me, who I am. You know what I'm saying? But yes, I remember all them shows, but that MASH, how many of y'all like to watch MASH? I couldn't get MASH, y'all. How many of y'all like the MASH? I just couldn't get it. You did, Frank? I love to meet some facts of life. I used to imagine I'm on now. I used to imagine being one of them girls. But how many of y'all like the MASH? I could not. Oh, your daughter was born in 89? Your youngest child? That's what year my daughter was born. MASH, I just couldn't get. Now, Murder, She Wrote, it was okay, but the Facts of Life, the Cosby Show, the Cosby Show is what I used to watch, I think, on Thursday. I think it used to come on Thursday. Y'all don't forget to give me a thumbs up now. Uh, and Dynasty, woo, woo. You said it's 70. Yes, yes, Frank. When it started getting out after the 90s, woo, things changed. You watching Empire? Buddha, we talking about Empire came out of what, the 2000s? Buddha, you ain't used to watch none of these shows right here? Let me see what else I got in my thing. I got Buddha. I bet you know what these is, don't you? I bet you know what them is. Who remember them? I want me some now. I, I wish I had me some. I wish I had me some of them right there. Who remember these? You remember these, Buddha? You remember having none? Your mom didn't have none? What? Buddha food stamp sugar? You don't know what them is? Frank, you know what they are, don't you? They were food stamp. You remember? Buddha, you used to buy grocery with it. This what they bought grocery with, Buddha. You know how they got the food stamp? You know when they got the food stamp on the card now, right? But this, I used to love, everybody know when it was food stamp time. They used to send them through the mail. Hey, Miss Key, I didn't know you was here. Hey, how you doing? You said I got it when I went on disability. You remember? Okay. I didn't know you was here. I had a phone call. But I think they used to come through the mail, y'all. We used to know what my mama got her. The envelope used to be full, right? They used to be the $65 book. Let's see, 65, 20. But I wish I had me some of them jokers now. But now they got the food stuff on the card. You got to be able to put a pin on it. Like I was telling Six Bowl, now one time I was at the grocery store and put all that gross up there, right? Okay, how you doing? Y'all doing all right? You know this Throwback Thursday. Y'all know I be bringing out stuff. I'm talking about the 80's right now. I remember going to the store with the card they got now, right? Back then when my daughter was getting some. I went in that store and put all that gross on the counter, and I forgot the PIN number. And I didn't want to call my daughter right then, because, people be like, they be thinking you trying to sell your stamps or whatever. But I put the wrong pin number in there 2 times. No folks locked that card. And I had to let that grocer sit up there on that counter. I had to let it. You said bike hit wrong, but hey, Kenneth, how you doing? And if you put the wrong pin number in those stamps now, you won't be able to use them. After you go put your number, all right, Buddha, good to see you. Oh, okay. That's why I said they need to go back to those right there because sometimes you mess around and lock yourself out. It's good to see you, Kenneth. Do you know what these are, Kenneth? A lot of the young people don't know what these are. A lot of the young people don't know what they was used for. This is what people were buying groceries with back in the 80s and 90s. I think they switched up, 2000 and something? I got to do my research. But they used these for years. You can tell when food stamp day was. Piggly Wiggly was full, y'all. You never used them? Okay. But yeah, I'm just talking about the 80s. Yeah, they had some good shows back in the 80s, Frank. You know, we didn't have Netflix and all that back then. We had cable and stuff like that. I used to watch Baywatch, Full House, Murder She Wrote, Night Rider. How many of y'all remember those shows? I used to love Night Rider. I used to love looking at that man in that car. He was flying in that car. Do y'all remember any of these shows right here? I'm taking y'all back in the 80s with me today, y'all. Taking y'all in the 80s. Y'all remember any of those shows? I used to watch the Cosby Show every time it came on. Let's see what else I got here. Different Strokes. I loved the Cosby Show. And I liked that show, Saved by the Bell. It ain't on here, but I loved it, Saved by the Bell, too. You ain't never watch none of these, little boo? What you used to watch then? Boo! You didn't watch, what you used to watch back in the 80s? Buddha, what you was watching? Sesame Street? Buddha said she don't know nothing about them show, y'all. Do y'all know anything about Different Stroke, Facts of Life, The Cosby Show? Let me see what else I got in here. Buddha, what you watching, girl? Miami Vice, MacGyver, Seinfeld, Catton and Lacey, Knight Rider, Full House. So don't none of y'all know anything about that? Look, well, I know you know something about that, Kenny. John, oh yeah, I used to love his pictures too, Buddha. These right here, some shows. You ain't never watched Miami Vice, Catton and Lacey, MacGyver. I used to love all this. These right here came on just regular TV station. Frank said Cosby Show, Facts of Life, Different World, Saved by the Bell, Silver Spoon, yep, Benson, Happy Day, Laverne and Shirley, yep, Frank, yep, all those shows, yep. But these right here was like Knight Rider. I think he was like, they used to be like solving cases, Magnum PI, and different things like that. I'm just saying, showing y'all things, how things were back then, but just came on regular TV. Now they're showing all these on cable. I think they're showing most of these on cable right now. Baywatch. Yeah, I used to love Baywatch too. I used to love the guy. I guess he was the bodyguard. Let me see what I got. Anybody know what that is? I know these little young cats don't know what that is. Do anybody know what that is? Buddha. Buddha, you know what that is? I'm messing with Buddha. Boo, you know what that is right now? I'm telling y'all, this was some of the nastiest stuff in the world. But you know what? This what our parents gave us back in the day. They used to work them colds. You could take this for colds. You used to take it for laxatives. It's nasty. It's called castor oil. Anybody in the chat? Woo! My mama now used to warm this stuff up, y'all. Frank, that castor oil. You don't know what that is? I know somebody in the chat know what this is. It was something that they used to give us for colds. It's nasty. It's nasty. Wait a minute, Kenneth, you don't know what that is? You 6 to 1. Kenneth, you don't know what that is? They used to give us this when we have a cold. My grandma used to warm it up. They'll put it, like give us a spoonful. I'm telling y'all, it used to have us going to the bathroom. You take this right here. Like I'm drinking this water, this water I'm drinking with lemons and pineapple. It working me. But that castor, that stuff will have you going, y'all. Buddha knows she tickling me down there. Oh Lordy. But y'all remember those little candy right there? Anyone remember those whistle pops? Anybody remember those? I think they still sell these though. They probably about 50 cents. What about these right here? I know Shelly said she remember those. Which one of these were y'all favorites on this list right here? Boo, do you know anything about these? They still sell these, but they ain't 10 cents no more. I can't. They ain't 10 cents no more, y'all. They're not 10 cents no more. No. You gonna pay at least about, I probably would say you might pay about 50 cents for some. Yep. Let's see what I guess I got in here. Got that. Now, Lemonhead was my favorite. I don't eat that junk, told you. I was about back in the day, you didn't ever eat none of this. What was you eating for snacks, Buddha? When you get out of school, what was you eating? Yeah, this was a junk food by then, girl. This was, and now people probably still buy them. You probably gonna go to Sam's and get them like, box. But when they sell them in those convenience stores now, they sell them in those convenience stores and so you gonna pay about a good 50 cents. Crybabies, I done heard of that candy. Ain't it hot? And it's a hot kind of candy. I told you I would take y'all back to the 80s with me today. I'm taking y'all down memory lane. I'm taking y'all down memory lane. You said Me TV, yeah. Yeah, Me TV got a lot of it. Yeah, they do. They really do. Now who didn't have this right here in their house? Who didn't have one of those? I know we did. We had one of these. The sour gumball, yeah, Buddha. Oh, yeah. Oh, you kid at Cracker Barrel? Oh, okay, I didn't know that. How many of y'all parents had one of these right here? We did. Is Cracker Barrel's a store? I done heard of Cracker Barrel. Is that a restaurant or something? How many of y'all knew somebody had these, or your parents, or y'all had one? I know my grandmama and I had one of these. Oh, for real, Frank? They play a lot of cartoons on there. Do y'all remember this right here, y'all mother house? Hey, Tuber Chat. I'm taking them with the 80s with me. Do you know anything about the 80s, Tuber Chat? Do you know anything about the 80s? Okay. Do anybody know what this is right here? This is called it's a stereo, and it had like okay. This was like a stereo where you could play the record player on top. I think you put a record on top, and then you have the cassette in the middle, and you have the station. You know, this ain't no what they got now. You know, they got okay, so you know something about the 80s, right? Okay. Do you remember seeing one of those? You know what those albums? Remember y'all used to have those albums, and my cousin used to collect albums. She had all types of albums. Lionel Richie. I used to love to listen to Lionel Richie, Osborne. I'm old school, y'all. Michael Jackson. Back in the 80s, like I said, that was a good year. You know, I used to love to hear Michael Jackson. I used to love to hear Prince, all of them. Yeah, it was the component. You remember those Tuber Chat? You know, now they got all kind of stuff now. They got the iPods, they got this, they got that. This right here is vintage right here, y'all. This is vintage right here. This something back in the day where you can go get your them little small records and set them on top. And you know, I used to hate y'all when them needles used to be breaking on the stereo. Woo-woo. You always have to replace them. Yep, there was the component stereo. I think these have the cassette of them, I believe. I think they had a cassette in them. But I was just taking y'all down, taking y'all to the 80s with me today. Who all remember that? Who remember going to this store here getting movies? Oh, you do, Frank? That's cool. You know, now they got DVDs now, you know. They got the DVDs out. But I remember going to the store getting those VCR tapes. I did have a collection of VCR tapes, but you know, over the years, you know, they get messed up. I seen somebody video. I don't know who video. They had a whole lot of them. A lot of people be collecting video. They be collecting albums. I think Tuber Chat be collecting. I think I heard him say somebody he got music or something like that. Okay, I think I heard you say something about that, Tuber Chat. You got old music, like records and things like that. Yeah, the VCR. Yeah, you remember that, Frank? You know, we sit back and think about how things have changed, how technology have changed. You know, things are just not the same no more. Back in the 80s, things were cheaper. Things were cheaper. And, you know, I guess we have to go with time now. Things have changed. Back then, we didn't have no YouTube. We didn't have we didn't have no Netflix, Tubi. We didn't have none of those things, but we still was able to live and a good life, and we can sit back and tell our children about some of the things that we was able to do. And I just brought this show today, which I try to bring on Thursday, just bring back some memories, go down memory lane and let you see how, you know, things that we had to overcome to get where we at today. And I think that's a blessing. And our children today are blessed. They are truly blessed to have some of the things they have. They are truly blessed. That's what I tell my grandkids all the time. Yeah, those are the records, y'all. Those are the records. hmm Right now, I think people mostly download and playlists now. They don't really play too many side load, Fire Stick. Okay. I don't think too many people are playing. Well, Tuber Chat said he still play records. I don't think too many people playing records now. Either they got their own playlist, they got their iPods, they got their little, whatever the little thing called, where they can just listen to the music in that way. So today I just want to take y'all down to the 80s with me. Things have changed, y'all. Things have changed. Let's see what else I got in here. I remember when I got my first little record player. How many of y'all had a little record player coming up? You know, the little small box kind? Yes, yes, yes. Those were the days. Those were the days. Anybody want to come up and share a memory about when they was coming up in the 80s or anything? You can come on the panel. Hey, y'all. Y'all done all right? I just wanted to take y'all to the 80s with me. I hope y'all have enjoyed looking at the just reminiscing, thinking about the inflation, how inflation have changed, the gas prices. Woo! Y'all remember when gas used to be $2? How much y'all gas is in y'all area now? Like what? In Georgia, it's like three. I think it's three something, almost four. But it have been higher than that. It have been higher than that. Because I remember when one year that was when I was working, and I used to drive a van to work. I used to drive one of those big old commercial van, right? Shoot, you think you could ride out $20 of gas in one of them big van? Not back then. You could. Couple years ago, that gas was almost $4, y'all. It was almost $4. And after that pandemic hit us, everything went up. Do y'all agree? After the pandemic hit, it seemed like everything went up. I don't know if it went up because people had to go back to, I guess they had to get back to their normal way of living because when the pandemic hit, things did change. People had to change jobs. They probably had to, some of their businesses got closed and they had to start all over. But we're thankful and blessed that if you made it through the 80s up until today, you are truly blessed. And, like I said, the 80s was one of the good years, 90s. I got memories in all the years. I was born in 69. So yeah. YouTube changed. It's showing that I've been on YouTube 2015, but I didn't start posting until 2020. Yeah, 21. Right up in there. So yes, I used to tune into YouTube, but I had no idea about all the things that are going on YouTube the way it is now. Woo, it is a lot. It is a lot, and it takes a lot to keep these channels going. I have learned. I have been through a lot over here on my channel, but I'm still pushing. I'm still moving forward. Uh, you know, it was devastating to lose my monetization, but hopefully one day I get it back. But I can't let it stress me out because this is entertainment. Only thing I can do is just if I want to keep building, if I want to get this channel back like it was, I just have to do what I've been doing. Just continue to post and put out the positivity because in order for me to grow, I grow the way I've been growing. I mean, there's some things I could probably be better at, but I'm not going to change to for nobody to get people in my chat. I'm not going to stoop to no other people's levels to get people in my chat. I'm just going to be who I am. And I think the people that does like me for who I am and come over and support me and appreciate some of the things that I do. And that's what motivate me to keep on going, because the few people that does come over here, I does appreciate y'all so much. You say it was fun. It was here when music was fun. Okay. So back then, Frank, what you was what do you mean by, like, I heard you say that before. What do you mean? You was able to download then? Because like I said, when I got on YouTube, I really just used to be looking until one day I just started. I said, I'm gonna get in somebody's chat, because I didn't know nothing about YouTube. I'm being honest. I didn't know nothing about it. But I have learned as I have grown. I have learned a whole lot about YouTube now, but I didn't know a whole lot. Things are different now, very different. No, you could actually play music on your live. Oh, okay, yeah. No, you can't do that now. I mean, if you do it now, you go get an email. Cause when I was on vacation, they sent me a thing. I got to go back and change that live, saying something about the music. Things are just different from the 80s up until the way they are now. If anybody want to come on a panel and share anything, y'all welcome to. I'll drop the link. Just tell me to drop the link. I will. But this has been a good little show. I just want to reminisce and talk about the 80s. Things have changed. And then in the summertime, you see how the summertime is now. It was hot back there too in the 80s and 90s. It was real hot. Because I remember pregnant with my son. I'm going to talk about the 90s too. I had my son in the 90s. That was a hot year. Being pregnant in the summertime is one of the miserable feelings in the world. So 6-year-old, you take it easy, girl, this summer, because you don't have your baby till November. Stay cool. Stay cool. I can remember when I was working and I was pregnant. And in those plants, like those assembly plants, they didn't have air conditioning. They just had the big fan sitting on the assembly line. Everybody trying to get some air. I was so miserable when I was pregnant and working. I was just straight miserable because you wasn't, I remember out there working, just trying to put those parts together. Sweat was used to be running. I was You already were hot enough, but being pregnant in summertime, whoo, it's crazy. You remember that, Frank? Working in those hot plants. I be wondering how some of those people be working in those plants when they like dealing with lead and lights and stuff. 'Cause we was working with lights. We was doing the light fixtures, and they used to have a fan sitting on each line. Everybody wanted to get on the end. Everybody said everybody used to try to get to the end of the line or either the beginning of the line, because they would have a fan like in the end, they would have one in the middle, and then they have one in the beginning. Everybody trying to get in those same spots every day. But I guess back then that's how things were. But as the years progressed, they started getting more fans, and people had started passing out in these plants. Too hot. But people had to do what they had to do because they had to work. I remember my first job, I was working on a hot plant. I was working on a hot plant. Yeah. Those warehouses. Woo. And see, I was working in this place where it was back in, I realized I had my daughter. I started working in this plant. We was working with moss and seaweed stuff, like we was preparing bags for when people get ready to put in their plants, like the moss, we were doing moss and what the other stuff we called. But we used to pack that, and it used to be so hot because they had those sealing things, like you seal the bag. You know what I'm talking about, Frank? They used to seal the bag. They used to take heat to seal the bags. Ooh. They was always telling them, y'all, if you don't have to go back in that area, don't go back in that area. You working with spices? Oh, okay. But yeah, that's what we were doing. We was like, certain people would pack this. The next person would put the labels on. I used to bag the stuff. I used to have to put them in the bag like this. And then the next person would seal them up. Then the next person would put them in the box. They used to have the guys like lifting the boxes or sealing the boxes. Yeah, and I think back then the pay was like $7. That was minimum wage for like $7 back then. But now I think minimum wage done went up some. I'm not sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but some jobs are paying more now. I think they getting paid more at these fast food now. Me either. Me either. Me either. Before I got sick and stopped work, wasn't able to work. I was working on a chicken plant. And ooh, loud. Now it wasn't hot in there. It was cold in there. And I think that's when my back and stuff started going out on me then, because I was standing in one place for like 8 hours. And we used to put the chicken. Some people will load the chicken on there and they'll go down on line. The chicken will go on our line like that. And then they used to have one person load the chicken, one person cut the wing, one person cut the leg, the other person pull the breast. Ooh, look, I got arthritis all in my hand from pulling that cold chicken. But if we had to do to survive and take care of our families. I don't knock nobody for their job or anything that they're doing to provide for their family, because the way things are now, you got to do what you got to do. I worked in that plant, stood up. I had surgery on one shoulder. Then this shoulder here still ain't right. Then my back went out on me. And they told me it come from standing on that concrete. Standing on concrete all day long. They'll give us a little 15, 20-minute break. But those breaks when they wouldn't, you know. But we had to do what we had to do to survive. That what you say, Frank? Oh, so that's a memory you want to forget, Frank. Yeah, but it was cold in that plant. Ooh. They used to be somebody, my dad, right? He was like, why you been wearing all them clothes? It was cold. That's one thing, I do not like to be cold. I do not like to be cold. I used to be loaded down. So people you looking at me like I'm crazy. I was like, oh. And you think about these things, not Frank. All the stuff we went through back in the day, it come back and we could tell what it did to our bodies. I sit back and think about that. Hey, Marlene, how you doing? I done took them down to the 80's today. Do you know anything about the 80's, boss lady? I don't know what your age group is, but do you know anything about the 80's? The 80's was some good years, some good years. I'm not complaining about how things are now, but things are different now. From the foods, gas, clothing, everything has changed. And these days, we got to do what we got to do to survive and be for our families. And that's all we can do, y'all. That's all we can do. We just pray for the best, like this upcoming president and all that. I'm not telling nobody who to vote for. I'm not going to tell nobody who not to vote for. Only thing I said, let someone be that going to be here for everybody. Because I don't talk about politics, but this is going on in the world right now. Hey, Sandra, how are you? You feeling better? Yeah, I just was taking y'all with me in the 80s today. We're talking about the 80s. So do y'all remember any good memories? Do y'all remember any good memories of the 80s? I was just reminiscing about how food was cheap back then, compared to how things are now. Now you got to really budget. You have to really budget now. Well, that's good. I saw your post. You were saying you and your husband both wasn't feeling better. I pray that y'all continue healing. And I was just taking them down memory lane, 80s, and talking about the things that if you was born in the 80s, if you worked in the 80s, you know how things were back then. The food was, you was able to buy food. You was able to enjoy. Yes, dollar was back then, but I don't think it's as bad as it is now. It's not safe now. The kids, you're not sure if the kids gonna get some crazy person coming up in the school. I'm sure it was back then, but the way things are now, it just you be scared to see your kids in school these days because you don't know what fool gonna come out with a gun. Yeah, the cartoons. Okay. Yep. So that's what I was talking about today. Just compared to things from then to now. Yeah, everything said, yeah, so everything has gone up so much and things are expensive. You right. I was just telling Six Bowls about you can't go in the store and buy a loaf of bread. Y'all remember when bread used to be like $2? I went in the store the other day, we was getting ready to go on a trip, right? And I told my daughter, let's fix up some little sandwiches or something. That bread, $5, almost $5 in some of these stores. And I was just talking about some things back in the day when they was using these right here. A lot of people, a lot of people said they didn't know what these was, but this is some things we were using to buy grocery in the 80s. No, they don't. They really don't. And shout out to you, boss lady, for doing your fitness. You doing good. Let you trimming down too. You're doing good. But a lot of people didn't even know what these was. Yes. Sandra and boss lady, do y'all know what these is? This what they were using back in the day, y'all. These are called food stamps. And they used to come out certain times of the month. Everybody, you can tell when everybody being got them. You can tell when everybody being got them. See, like everybody be getting them at the same time every month. Oh yeah, I understand, girl. Mine was up like that. A few months ago, mine had got up to over 180. And it scared me so bad because that was during the time my dad was going through what he was going through, and I let it affect me mentally. So I'm back on my medicine. Right now, I be dealing with these joint pains and stuff, and that run my blood pressure up too. But I said I was gonna try to just stay focused and stick to things that I know gonna help me because that stress, that stress will kill you, y'all. It will kill you. Yeah, my mama used to have them too, see, but I mean not six bowl, but ball lady. A lot of folk used to be ashamed to go in the store with them. Shoot. I wish somebody could send me some now. But now they got the cards. And I was just doing some things like this today. I like to keep things positive and fun over here. And I like to talk about my childhood a lot, about the things that I have accomplished, the things that is real now. Oh, okay. Yeah. Dealer thing came in handy, shoe. And they used to sit out a certain amount. I'm just recapping on some of the things I was talking about today. I was talking about the prices of this candy now. Back then, these little things right here was 10 cents, I believe. But now I think they about 50 cents. You said, can you show me how to do a modified when you have? Oh, okay. You talking about the burpee. Mickey, you see what boss lady said? You said we use them food stamp coupon. No, they're right. Shoot, I wasn't ashamed. But y'all remember this candy right here? Do y'all remember this candy right here? You can't buy them now for 10 cents. You can't really buy nothing. Like I said, I would have just stole it. I got 3 pieces of peppermint candy. My throat was real scratchy. And they were 10 cents a piece. And when that candy used to be 2 cents. And I was looking for the bag of candy, but I didn't see none. So I said, I'm just gonna get a couple of pieces. All right, Buddha. I was just telling them, I was just recapping on what I was talking about today. Good to see you, Buddha. You've been taking it easy. But yes, I have enjoyed y'all, and I want to take y'all down memory lane today. I hope everybody's day been going well. Is anybody live now? Anybody live now? Y'all want to go over there and see what they're doing? Miss Key, are you live? Anybody? Buddha? Boss Lady? Y'all did anything today? What did y'all do today? I got to go back and check out some of y'all videos. What did y'all do today? We did our scripture of the day today too. We did that today. Tomorrow is the last day of scripture of the day. We're doing challenges all month. Oh, okay. You remember Astro? Okay. But yes, I did do some more of my detox water. But I was asking Frank now, do they know what this is right here? I bet Ball Lady know what this is. Hold up, Ball Lady. Where it at? Let me see. Y'all know what this is right here? Sandra, do you remember seeing this as a child? Okay. Yeah, I like Tubi too. They have some good movies on there. You just got off work. Do y'all remember this right here? I told Frank that stuff was nasty. But you know what, Ball Lady? This what they use. My grandma used to use this right here. And y'all don't realize this stuff right here, it helped. It was nasty. Yeah. Mickey, girl, my stomach here, right? I guarantee, because when I came on my trip, I was so bloated, y'all. I said, I got a detox this week. If I had got hold of that right now, ooh, child, probably be in the bathroom now. That stuff there, ooh, this stuff here will cut loose. You hear me? My grandma used to be saying, go on and give it to them. That's all they need, a good working out. This what it was for, y'all. This stuff here will cut loose. It will work something you don't want to work. Woo, but I've been detoxing all week and I feel so relaxed. But if I had got hold of some of this, ooh, child, that's all I needed was a little drop. And what I was saying, I'm gonna talk about this today. I think they still sell it. Do they still sell it, y'all? I think they do. Yeah, Frank. This right here used to keep you in the bathroom. My grandma used to give that for a cold. Cause you have a cold, right? It'd be a lot of stuff probably need to come out you anyway. My grandma used to boil some water. She used to put that on a teaspoon. And it was some more stuff. I didn't find a picture, but my mama used to use that turpentine. Anybody know what turpentine is? That stuff used to stink. It used to stink, but it helped. My aunt used to tell me, girl, I guarantee you get you some of that turpentine, your back will stop hurt. She always used to tell me before she died, put some of that turpentine up under your bed. It'll help you rest because I got a bad disc in my back, right? And she would tell me all the time, you'll feel much better if you do that. But I never could find none. But that was some stinking stuff. Woo. But anyway, you guys, I was just taking y'all down the 80s with me. Next week we probably do the 90s. But it's just part of my commentary. Just, I just talk about the things that we have been through, and we look at us now, y'all. If you made it through the 80s, you made it through all this pandemic, and we got to be thankful that we did, because a lot of people did not make it through the pandemic. A lot of people end up having COVID 2 and 3 times. I didn't get the COVID, but I did get the flu. But it's still out there, y'all. It's still out there. Even though they're not talking about it that much, but you still have to take precautions. And if you want to get a good working out, go get some castor. I guarantee, like Charles Barkley, I guarantee you will be in that bathroom for a couple hours. Just be drinking this water with pineapple. This is like a good workout for me. But if I had got hold of that castor oil, that would have been all I needed, y'all. Mickey probably been calling me, George girl, where you at? Girl, I'm in the bathroom. But I'm just having fun. But I want to thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all continue to have a blessed evening, and I'm gonna go see what y'all been doing today. Anybody dropped in the videos or anything they want somebody to see? Y'all can put it in the chat. Anybody did a recent video today or anything, y'all can drop it in the chat if y'all want to. Usually it help when you go to labor. Yeah, because I'm telling you, Miss Key, that stuff. Miss Key, what you know about that, girl? What you know about that? You still in your 30s. What you know about that? All right, thank you. What you know about some Miss Key? I didn't think you know what that was. But I'm sure your mama do, I'm sure if you in your late 40s or 50s, you might know what it was. Okay, Miss Key did, she just did some video. Y'all want to check her out? Anybody did anything today they want us to see? And Sandra, the doctor thought I had Crohn too, but I got IBS. I got IBS, and ooh, child. Certain foods, I don't need to take nothing either because certain foods have me going. Because I got IBS. Frank just dropped his recent video. Miss Key, y'all can go check them out. Let me see what y'all did there. Okay, that's Miss Key. Frank just dropped his. But yeah, they thought I had Crohn too, because the way how my stomach used to be. But now I take medicine for the IBS. I just went and picked up my subscription a while ago. I don't supposed to be eating cheese, but I made that stuff the other day. I was like, Lord, I paid for it. But yeah, it's certain foods that I can't eat either. Yeah, it's right in there. They're in the same category. It's in the same category. And my stomach, my stomach was being so much pain. And so I had to go get a colonoscopy. I had a colonoscopy done. You have a GERD? Okay. I had to get a colonoscopy done. That one thing I do not like. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. They thought I was going to have to go get another one done a few months ago, but they ended up putting a light down my throat. They put a light down my throat to show that I have gastritis. So it's a lot of food that don't agree with me, but I try to eat it anyway, but I pay for it. I end up paying for it in the end. Ooh, I can't eat it either. I can't eat it either. That's why I be telling no children, don't be bringing that spicy stuff to me. Mm-mm. Yeah, y'all check out everybody's videos. Miss Key, where you at? You'll get those videos for me. Key, my sister. Will you get everybody that dropped a video so I can get them and go comment on them, just in case I didn't see them today? Shelly dropped one. Frank, uh, Boss Lady, and you dropped one. Y'all comment on the videos. That'll help us with our viewers and things. Y'all know I did my Bible scripture today, and I also did yes, yeah, we got to. We got to. You know, I did good a couple years back with my weight, but I be have to be on shots. They give me steroids for pain because I have joint pains. And you know those steroids, those shots, they does have steroids in them. Okay. Sandra got a video. Y'all make sure y'all connect with everybody. That's how we do over here. You know, y'all my moderators, and I let y'all drop y'all recent videos. Let everybody go over there and comment on them, and let's continue to keep networking and keep helping each other out. Um, but I enjoyed everybody today. I hope y'all enjoyed. We laughed, and that's laughter is good for the soul. Laughter is good for the soul. But I'm gonna get ready to get off. I enjoyed everybody. I'm gonna go back and watch the videos that I didn't catch earlier today. Y'all don't forget to give me those thumbs up. And yeah, we just gotta keep working with it, Sandra. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. I did see your post about you and your husband. Y'all take care. Boss Denise, good to see you. Miss Keith, Frank, I enjoyed y'all as always. Y'all don't forget to hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all on the next go round. Bye-bye.